Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
The time that we are going through right now is just like unprecedented. And it's very humbling to see that what we started to build just about 2 years back has become like so mainstream in just about a month.
Ritika, take us through the weird decision making that you pursued this time to pick up the opportunity to move to the US with Microsoft.
So I'm happy to see that you've kind of almost figured me out, Kunj. this this decision does have a story. And it goes like that. I was kind of pretty bored with Hyderabad as a city. I'd spent like 3 years there. And I was kind of done with Microsoft too, because I wasn't really working on a project which was exciting for me at that point in time. So I was looking for a change. And then I was looking to move to like a bigger city, probably Bangalore or Bombay or something of that sort. And then I just happened to apply at Amazon. I got an offer. I was so excited about it that I planned like a vacation. And I took like a one-way ticket to Tanzania to kind of just go spend some time there for a few days, probably a month, and then be back. Yeah, so essentially, the partner who I used to work with, him and I had this common thread where we are both like avid travelers, and we used to exchange stories around our travel experiences. The only difference was he used to travel a whole lot in the US, whereas I travel in India. But we kind of really used to enjoy those conversations. And then he just extended me an offer in the new team that he was moving to. And I was like, I don't know how this would all work out because my last day is in 3 days and I've already packed my stuff. And on Saturday, I have to drive to Bangalore. So I don't know how will this all work out. Like, how will I get an offer? How will my visa get processed in 3 days? Like, I don't know. And then he's like, I'll take care of all of that. And then I had to drop that bomb on him, which is like, I have a one-way ticket to Tanzania and it's not non-refundable. So I don't know what to do about that. He's like, yeah, don't worry, just take a vacation. Like we'll figure the leaves out and all because anyway it'll take like a few months for you to kind of get your visa and stuff. So it's fine. We can make that work. And I was like, okay, but then I had
Wow.
almost made up my mind to kind of just move to Bangalore and moving to the US is like a big decision. Like I've not thought about it. And he's like, trust me, like you would enjoy them. Like knowing who you are and what you enjoy, I believe that that's a place that you'd really enjoy.
So, Ritika, in the US, do you directly enter the Microsoft Teams wala team, or were you in a different team and then you made it to Microsoft Teams?
So I was in a team where I was working on Cortana, which is Microsoft's digital assistant, like the AI assistant that Microsoft built. And I was working on a project where I had to kind of put together the developers toolkit for Cortana skills because at that point in time, Amazon was rolling out like the Echo devices and Microsoft had the Harman Kardon speaker that we were rolling out. And we were planning to put together the skills kit where like a citizen developer or like a third party developer can build skills. And it was a very different project because so far I had built like customer project products and stuff like that. And this was the first thing where I was doing something in an enterprise space where I was trying to build like for a developer as opposed to like a consumer, like a website or an app or something. So it was a very different experience.
Okay, Ritika, tell me a little bit in more detail. What is the kind of work that you do as a product manager at Microsoft Teams? What's your day-to-day work like? What are some of the projects that you typically get to pick up and work on?
So essentially, like right now, I work on this part of the product which is called enterprise readiness. So basically, what a day in my life right now looks like is my team currently focuses on this part of Microsoft Teams, which is preparing it for enterprise readiness. And what we primarily focus on is that we have to ensure that the product is relevant in different industry verticals like healthcare, education, defense, and stuff like that. And each one of these industries come with their own requirements for like compliance and security and expectations that they have of a product like this to ensure that it is safe for their users to use. And it kind of fits in with all the industry regulations that they have to abide by. So it was like a very uncharted territory for me per se, because I'd never worked in this aspect of any product till now. I had to learn a whole lot about what these rules and policies and compliance regulations are before I could figure out what I need to kind of go do in the project. So basically, like now what I spend most of my time on is identifying these product gaps, exploring solutions, putting together presentations and demonstrating things to like the CVP and other execs on what our product strategy should be and what our numbers look like, what are some of the areas where we have seeing significant improvements versus what are some of the areas where we can improve and stuff like that. And then once we have like a well agreed upon plan, I have a team which kind of just goes and helps me execute on that plan. But it kind of comes with the challenges of like, workplace dynamics where you have to kind of figure out who else is working on something similar, how can we partner together, how can we add more value to whatever they are doing and stuff like that. Besides all of this, the day is sprinkled with like a lot of customer meetings, road shows, conferences where we have to present at, escalations, and then everything in between.
Okay, Ritika, your journey into becoming a product manager, in hindsight, how much of it has got to do with you being an engineer? Like for being a good product manager, how important is it for you to be an engineer?
I think that's a very good question. Like, we never touched upon the fact that I completed my engineering in electronics. But essentially, now what I use the most is like probably a lot of computer science, like nothing to do with electronics, not even close to like whatever I studied for engineering. So I think what fundamentally matters is like we should have an aptitude to kind of just pick up some of these new skills, or at least talk through like a technical stack, like somebody who understands what a backend is like, what services are, how these services work or could be set up. We don't really need to have like a lot of in-depth knowledge in that domain because you'd always work with architects and engineering managers. But as a product manager, you should be able to kind of understand all of it and talk about it, and then even share some perspectives on like how we can do better. Because sometimes the engineering managers are so focused on solving the engineering aspect of it that the solutions really need like a product manager to come in and say that, how about we try something like this? So I think just that aptitude to understand technology and to be able to talk about it is important. We don't really need like a degree in engineering per se.
Okay. Uh, Ritika, you worked in two uh, big clusters of engineers working and living in an ecosystem in India and now in the US.
Mm-hmm.
The Indian ecosystem different to the US ecosystem in terms of just our day-to-day life as human beings, but also as professionals.
I think like the way I want to kind of answer that is that the fundamental differences that I've noticed come from the fact that what is the product that we are working on and what's the market that we are building that product for and what's the technology that we are building that product on. I think that kind of takes care of like majority of the uniformity that comes irrespective of the geographical locations where these teams are built and stuff. So my team in India right now and my team here has a very, very homogeneous structure per se. Like, we work the same way, we talk the same language and stuff like that. But having said that, there are a couple of differences in the way the work culture is in India versus the US. In the US, it's more about like life is super busy. So people come in at like 7:30, 8-ish, and they want to be out by 4. So it's very, very streamlined and process driven. Whereas in India, it's very social and warm, where you kind of just go step out for like a chai or whatever else, and then you even discuss like designs or solutions over chai, or like whatever. So basically, those are some subtle differences. Where in the US, you actually have to plan social hours or whatever to kind of get to know people. And knowing people is very, very important to be able to kind of work together and build things together, because you need to have like a level of trust that it's impossible for one single person to figure everything out, and you have to rely on other people's judgment. And those kind of things like are super, super important in addition to like your technical aptitude or whichever skill you bring to the table. So I think it is easier to kind of do that in India because of just the social culture that does exist in the work environment. It's much harder to kind of do that in the US.
The product that you're working on is going to see a massive upsurge in terms of it being used in the coming months. I'm sure you're seeing it already. And also the industries that you're serving within that product, which is, you mentioned healthcare and education, are within themselves going through a massive phase of transition because of the coronavirus situation. So what are some of the trends that you are seeing emerging from your vantage point as a product manager at Microsoft Teams?
I think that's a great question. Like, the time that we are going through right now is just like unprecedented. And it's very humbling to see that what we started to build just about 2 years back has become like so mainstream in just about a month. So it's super humbling to be on this product, and it also comes with like a lot of responsibility. So in the last couple of months, like our product has been deployed by like NHS in UK, or like majority of the schools in Italy and the US, government organizations in the US and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see how people are kind of just lapping up all the technology. Like, initially it used to kind of take us months to kind of convince people to kind of get onto these kind of products and to kind of appreciate technology. It's unfortunate that it's happening through something like this, but the good side of it is that the appreciation that it has kind of created in the market or in the minds of people is phenomenal. Like, there is no other way that we could have kind of gotten so many people to appreciate technology. We ourselves are so amazed to see the level of adoption, where like most of our colleagues post pictures every single day where their kids are now joining like their classes, like be it in grade like K2 through 12 or whatever else, over online classes on Teams. And they're kind of submitting their assignments on Teams, they're getting graded on Teams. Government agencies are kind of just getting online and making decisions and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting to see how things have transformed within just 4 or 5 weeks. And that's a very, very humbling experience so far.
Take us in the middle of the Microsoft Teams office right now. Uh, there must be a lot of activity or onboarding so many users in large batches these days. And also the usage has gone up suddenly. That also means that a lot more bugs are being reported. It also means that a lot of feedback is coming in. It also means that a lot more deals are closing where people are signing up on the platform. So what is the atmosphere like in the office right now?
So it feels like a like a war room, like for real. Just that we're all in our homes, but we
Right.
have close to like 7 hours a day that we spend on like 30-minute meetings and things. And each one of them are like COVID-19 block, COVID-19 block, COVID-19 block. And I'm like, okay, which one am I going into? What am I supposed to do in this meeting and stuff like that? And you're very right that, there are bulk deployments that are happening right now. Most of our services have to ramp up like 10 times, 20 times to kind of support all of this stuff. And it is interesting to see where in this day, like, we even have to think about what can we cut down on, like what can we optimize. Like, it's in the middle of everything, like onboarding new people and supporting existing traffic and pushing changes into prod is nothing less than like, it's like fixing a car that is already running, like, changing the wheels on a car that is already running. And I don't know how we do it, but we're able to kind of do it, and it's a learning experience for all of us. Like, it's so interesting to see that it's hard for anybody in the room to make a call and say that, yeah, we should go do this, because everyone's like we should all be prepared to kind of deal whatever happens after. So I think
Yeah.
that is it. Like, most of the decisions these days are like, let's just prepare to deal with it, and let's just go and fix whatever we know we can, whichever way we can.
What are some of the things? So there was a stage where these three things excited you. You mentioned. Uh, what are some of the themes? What are some of the things that excite you from here on to get into? What makes you curious? Where do you see your career going from here now?
That is a very, very hard question. So I've never been a person who has planned her career, and I'm more like an impulse decision maker. And I honestly have not really thought a whole lot about it, but I know that if I stick around here, I would not run out of opportunities to build more products like this, or to keep building more features and stuff like that. But it is hard to beat whatever we could do with Teams, because even in the history of Microsoft, like, this is like one of the fastest growing apps, and it doesn't happen like every now and then. So it's hard to beat this experience. So I think like if something has to excite me enough after this, it has to be in a totally different domain. Like, it probably would not really be technology. It could be something else, and which requires some product management skills or whatever, that I can make myself valuable.
So from someone who had certain reservations about large companies when she got out of campus to now working in one of the largest companies in the world, your perception about large companies has come a long way. Has it changed in any way?
So that is a very interesting question because, like, when I joined Microsoft, my plan was to stick around for 1 year because I did not really want to be in this kind of an environment for
Your
long.
brand name Lilungi, and then I'll
Yeah,
do whatever
exactly. I was like, yeah, let's just go here. I wanted to get out of Gurgaon. I have an opportunity
Right.
right now. The company is good. Let's just try it. But after that, I will go back to something where I can make a bigger impact, kind of a thing. But the good thing was, I think I got lucky where I kind of moved from one project to the other, where I kind of could see that I was having like a decent impact, and the team kind of just hit it out of the park because like the kind of impact that we've been able to have now with this is unbeatable right now. So it's been 7 years since I joined, and am I thinking of moving out? Probably not. So the good thing about Microsoft is there are so many different kinds of products that they have that it's easy to kind of just move around and find new challenges and then kind of set yourself onto a different path.
Thanks a lot, Ritika, for doing this with us, especially when you're in the midst of this crazy activity. Really appreciate you doing this. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks for this opportunity, Kunal. It was great speaking with you.